I want to get your thoughts on Australia voting for that resolution calling for a sustainable ceasefire in the Middle East. It seems like a complete capitulation by the Australian Labor government from strong support for Israel that's been bipartisan here for many years.
As a former foreign minister, I was both surprised and very disappointed, deeply disappointed that Australia should have supported a ceasefire. This is the language that Hamas wants adopted, because from Hamas's point of view, it survives another day with a ceasefire. It is able to rebuild during the ceasefire, and it is able to launch fresh attacks on Israel. Let's understand two things. First of all, the ceasefire was ended by Hamas on the 7th of October. The second thing to understand is you will never have peace in the Middle East for as long as Hamas are able to launch attacks on the Israelis, because they want to destroy Israel and kill the Jewish people. So I would say there should be no ceasefire with Hamas. Hamas has to be destroyed. And when they're destroyed, then good, we can have a ceasefire. But, you know, we demanded during the Second World War unconditional surrender by the evildoers of Nazi Germany and Tojo's Japan. We should be demanding the unconditional surrender by Hamas. If they surrender unconditionally, that's fine. Then the ceasefire will happen. But until they surrender unconditionally and all their weapons are handed in, the war will continue until they are totally obliterated as a military force.
It strikes me that it's so obvious that that's the message the international community and the UN should be sending, but it sends the opposite message. Do you have any idea why Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong would have made this backflip?
I have no idea. They seem to have negotiated some agreement with the Canadian government, which is a centre-left government, and with the New Zealand government. Well, they've only just come into power, so I mean we can just set them aside as a new government. But with the Canadians, and their position is the wrong position. They should have voted in the General Assembly with the United States and Great Britain and Israel, and they would have been in a minority, but they would have been in really good company. But they're playing politics here in Australia with the Muslim communities and the Jewish community and trying to find a balance between these communities. No, that's not what you should be doing in foreign policy. You should be doing what is right. And in this case, what is morally right, which is to destroy Hamas's military force. And the only ceasefire is going to come when they agree to an unconditional surrender.
Yeah, well said, Alexander Downer. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch up with you again next week. Alexander Downer there.